Well, hello, this is Brian again. It's been over a year since my last update on the Aquaponics experiment, and I thought I'd just give an update. So a lot of people posted some helpful suggestions in the comments, and some reading elsewhere kind of drove some changes to the overall design, but the basic idea is still the same. This tank is still going strong. For the first month or so, I had it basically took longer than I expected for the chemicals and microorganisms in the water to kind of balance, and so I ended up killing some fish, getting this up and running. But once everything balanced out, these two goldfish have survived rather well and seem to be doing well and are very big and eat a lot of fish food. So anyway, that's been going fine. Then up here you'll notice a few changes. For one thing, I wrapped the whole thing in black Gorilla Tape to prevent algae growth on the side of the clear plastic tub, and that seems to be doing fine. And so for a year or so I had mint, parsley, basil, all doing well, and that was with the old design where it basically stayed full all the time. The parsley and mint especially did well. The basil never really took off, but it sort of survived. Other things I had tried were oregano, which again, kind of like the basil, it survived, but it didn't thrive by any means. And then various other things didn't work. Strawberries drowned quickly. I tried some jalapenos, and they did really well in terms of growth, but never fruited, possibly because I didn't do any work to help pollinate them. So that may be the reason for that. But anyway, it's been kind of a mixed result, from some things working, some things not. A few other things, I've upgraded the lamp, the grow lamp. This is just a work light, normal fluorescence in there, although I suppose I could possibly replace them with some grow lamps if they sell them in that size, but it's been doing fine. As over here you can see two timers. All the time I've had one timer, the one on that top one there, running the light, and so it's on for about more than 10 hours a day, more like maybe 15 hours a day. And then just recently I kind of cleaned it all out and started over, took out the parsley and mint because they were kind of at the end of their rope, and I decided I'm going to try to do more of an ebb and flow type approach. Now I didn't want to go through all the work of redesigning the thing so fundamentally as to give it like a siphon and everything, but because I have this drain over here, and that basically I've just been flowing water straight through, I decided what I would do is I would just drill some more holes in the drain lower, so that when the pump isn't running it will drain down to about an inch of water. So there's always about an inch in there, but it'll drain most of it away. And the pump is strong enough that as it's running, the lower holes can't keep up, so it does fill up as full as it ever did when the pump is running. But then once it turns off, it eventually drains down to about an inch. And so now I'm running the pump on a timer. I run it for about a half hour 5 times a day right now, although I may adjust that if things seem to be staying too wet or drying out too much. But basically the idea is it's sort of a lazy man's ebb and flow, where basically when the pump is on it'll fill up, and then once it turns off it'll drain back down. And I'm just using the aquarium or the fish pond thing as the reservoir. I don't have a third container for that. A few other changes since last time. So you'll notice I got rid of the little trash bucket thing that I was using as a kind of filter. I decided that wasn't really doing anything, and frankly the water stays pretty clean all by itself. The only filter it really needs is this grow medium. as some people recommended, I moved the pump, or one of the air pumps, down to the bottom for the fish. I still have one up here in the side over here. I'm not sure it really does anything to oxygenate the water anymore, but hopefully the ebb and flow scheme will let the roots dry out enough that the plants don't drown. And so my plan is, with these modifications, I want to try some new things. I want to retry strawberries. Hopefully the problem before was that they were too wet, and maybe with this new scheme they won't have that issue. I planted a bunch of things just recently. The only thing that's sprouted so far is dill, and the rest I just planted like literally yesterday. But I've got another mint plant going, parsley, savory, and another basil plant. And I'm hoping these things will do a little better this time around, because they won't be submerged in water all the time. And that's about it. So far I would call the experiment a success, although again I think my old scheme, as people had mentioned, of keeping it submerged all the time was kind of a recipe for disaster, and only a few plants could survive that way. One comment on the water that I use to fill it up: I use a mix of tap water that I either let sit out for a day or more, or I add dechlorinating solution to it, and then I usually use the other half is distilled water. That seemed to help back when I was having issues with my fish not doing well, and after I switched to that scheme, they seem to be doing a lot better. It may be all balanced out enough that I could do all tap water, I'm not really sure, but basically I just don't want minerals to build up too much that would bother the fish. So anyway, that's the update. Hope you enjoyed it.